Welcome back, guys, to another Clash Royale video, and today I want to show you guys a golem strategy currently being used by one of my clan members who is a free-to-play level 10 player all the way up at 4,200 trophies, and his card levels are pretty impressive at that trophy range. His commons are level 10, his rares for the most part are all level 7, and his golem is level 5, which I'll talk about in a second. But the great thing with this deck is there's no legendary cards in it. In fact, the only epic in this deck is the golem itself. So it's a great option for all of you free-to-play players that don't have any legendary cards, but maybe you got a bunch of golems out of a magical chest or a super magical chest and you want to use it. And especially with the nerf to the giant poison strategy, I think golem's going to be pretty dominant after the round of balance changes coming tomorrow, because the golem is getting a buff, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But the one thing I love about this strategy the most is Moberg has found a way to combine an expensive card like the golem with a fairly fast cycling deck. He has the 1 elixir skeletons, the 1 elixir ice spirit, along with the Zaspel, the mega minion, as well as the mini P.E.K.K.A, which means if he needs to cycle through his deck fairly fast, he has a bunch of cheap cards to do so, like the ice spirit and the skeletons. So it's a really interesting strategy, and I'm really happy that Mo is able to make it work all the way up to 4,200 trophies as a free-to-play level 10 player. But in this battle here, he's facing off against a level 11 who is also using a golem strategy, but he has higher card levels: Miner level 3, Golem level 6, Prince level 6, and Commons level 12. Mo doing work to his opponent right here with that golem up front. 2 mini P.E.K.K.As coming in the back. Thanks to the fast cycling deck, he was able to get 2 mini P.E.K.K.As down. His opponent has no elixir left to defend. Mo already having the 1 crown lead so far with 1 minute 19 seconds left in this battle. Now his opponent decides to pump up here, which is pretty interesting because at this point in the battle, you're not going to get enough value back from the pump to make a pretty big comeback, considering both of Mo's towers are still 100% full health. Setting up another push here on the right hand side with that golem. Now I know some of you guys might be saying that Mo's golem is level 5, which might be considered high level, but you have to consider that by tournament standards, a level 5 epic is balanced against level 8 rares and level 10 commons only, and at 4,200 trophies, pretty much all of your opponents that you face have at least level 11 commons and level 8 rares by minimum. Most of them have level 9 rares or level 11 or 12 commons, so the level 5 epic is actually fairly underpowered at this trophy range. But the Golemites go in there doing work to the tower, bring it down to 1,400 health thanks to those explosions. Now I said before that the Golem is getting a buff in the next update, and they're changing the death explosion damage of a Golem to also affect air troops, and this is a huge change, guys, because previously your opponent could use minions or a minion horde to defend against a Golem, but now the Golem explosion by itself at tournament standards will take out minions completely, which is a huge change and a huge buff to the Golem itself. Mini P.E.K.K.A going in there, bringing the tower all the way down to 100 health. Golem trying to finish it off, giving Mo the 2 crown victory over a level 11 at 4,200 trophies. Let's go ahead here to the next replay. So here we are, guys, Mo in the bottom there, facing off against K in the top, who is rocking the giant balloon strategy. Now Mo doesn't really have the ideal starting hand here. He doesn't have his pump, which you pretty much always want to start out with if you're using a pump deck, but thanks to the cheap elixir cost of these skeletons as well as the ice spirit, he's able to spend only 2 elixir, cycle through some cards and get all the way to his pump. Then he's going to go ahead and use it in the bottom left corner. Now K is going to punish him immediately for that pump drop, going in with an aggressive giant balloon push. Now Mo defends this pretty well with the elixir that he has as well as the cards that he has, but he does take some damage to his tower because the balloon is able to make it in the very end. The skeleton's going down to distract the knight, with the ice spirit going down, freezing the balloon, and right before the balloon gets his second hit off, the mega minion is able to finish it off. Mega minion going back on a counter push to take out those minions. Knight on the right hand side doing a little bit of damage, but Mo has already cycled back to another elixir pump, and with pump decks, you often end up trading health in your tower earlier on in the battle for pumps, so that later on you can overwhelm your opponent with all the elixir you have flowing in. Gonna go ahead here and use the mega minion to counter the princess for an equal elixir trade, and then putting on pressure with a counter push, forcing his opponent to drop down a knight to answer the mega minion, giving Mo pretty good value for that 3 elixir cost of the mega minion itself. Now Mo makes a pretty big mistake here in a quick second. Golem push going up on the left hand side, his opponent doing an immediate push in the right hand lane with the giant as well as the balloon, and for some reason Mo uses the ice spirit to support his golem push on the left hand lane, when in my opinion he should have used it to freeze the balloon, allowing the mega minion to take it out, and he probably could have saved his tower there on the right hand side, because if you look at his golem push in the left hand lane, the ice spirit didn't really do too much to protect the golem. All it really does is freeze the tower for like 2 seconds, but with a golem having 1,000,000 health on it, those 2 seconds don't really make much of a difference as it would have did on the right hand side. But thanks to the fast cycling deck, He's outcycling his opponent. His opponent has no elixir left to defend, and Mo is able to take out that tower on the left-hand side and also go on to do work to the King Tower. Golem Explosion allowing the Mini P.E.K.K.A. to finish off all the Barbarians in one hit, and then go into the King Tower, getting a couple hits off, bringing it down to 2,500 health. Now Mo is going to go in for the kill here, going for the 3-crown victory. Golem push going up into the left-hand lane. K is going to try a pretty aggressive giant balloon push, dropping down both the giant as well as the balloon on Mo's side of the arena. But take a look at this clutch defense. Ice Spirit freezing the giant with the Mini P.E.K.K.A. taking it out. Now interesting that Mo decided to use the Mega Minion to support his Golem instead of defending his base. He doesn't care if his opponent takes out that second tower because he's going for the kill for that 3-crown victory. Fireball going down, finishing off all the Barbarians. 2 Golems in there with a second Mini P.E.K.K.A. going down, and yeah, this game is over in a quick second. 3-crown victory for Moberg. Let's go ahead to the next replay. So here we go, guys. Mo facing off against a double Prince strategy. But let me know what you think about this Golem deck in the comment section below. Personally, I'm pretty fascinated about it, about the way he combined an expensive deck like the Golem with a fairly fast cycling deck like the Ice Spirit, Skeletons, and Mega Minion. Because with a traditional Golem strategy, as soon as you place down the Golem, you're pretty open for an attack because you just spend 8 elixir on a card. But having a bunch of cheap cards like Skeletons and the Ice Spirit gives you a strong option on defense even after you drop down that Golem. Ice Spirit freezing the Dark Prince, getting rid of his charge attack, giving the tower as well as the Mega Minion time to take it out with 0 damage down to the tower. First pump going down in the bottom left corner. Notice how Mo didn't use his Golem yet, because of course you want to wait to have multiple pumps down before you start setting up aggressive Golem pushes. Skeletons going down, distracting the Prince, and the Mini P.E.K.K.A. going down at the very last second, taking out the Prince. Of course, with a Prince doing so much damage, you want to prevent even one attack on your tower with that Prince. Mega Minion going back, getting 1 hit off on his tower, with his opponent's Mega Minion dying before it reaches the tower. So things are looking pretty good for Mo here. He's getting set up with those pumps. If you guys are wondering how to counter a Golem strategy, prevent them from setting up multiple pumps earlier on in the battle, keep the pressure on, and if possible, always punish your opponent for placing down that pump. Because if you give them time to set up 2 or even 3 pumps, by the time that the double elixir period hits, you're going to be in a lot of trouble because you won't be able to keep up with all their attacks. In fact, right here is a good example as to how to counter a Golem strategy. Mo is starting to set up a Golem push on the right hand side. His opponent did an immediate counter push on the opposite lane with both Princes taking out Mo's tower, but thankfully with that fast cycling deck, Mo already has a Mini P.E.K.K.A. to support his Golem. Now watch this clutch Fireball. What the Fireball does is it knocks back all the Barbarians and forces his Mini P.E.K.K.A. to retarget to the tower, taking it out, evening out the score to 1 crown apiece. Now if you guys don't have the Ice Spirit yet, I would suggest maybe the Fire Spirits. What you really want is a really low elixir cost card, ideally 1 or 2 to replace the Ice Spirit, because the whole idea of this deck, like I said before, is combining the fast cycle of cheap cards with the expensive Golem. Now Golem going down the left hand side, double Prince action on the right there, but watch these Skeletons distract both the Princes, pull them over. Now for some reason the Prince decides to go back to the tower while the Dark Prince is distracted by the Golem, but Ice Spirit Mini P.E.K.K.A. combo coming in clutch, taking out the Prince, preventing several hundred damage to his tower. Golem exploding there, finishing off all the Barbarians, getting some additional damage done to the tower with the Skeletons as well as the Ice Spirit in the back doing work. Now the Ice Spirit freezing that Dark Prince, giving the Skeletons as well as the Mini P.E.K.K.A. time to take it out, which is really important if you have the chance to take out your opponent's defending troops on a push. Always take it because you don't want those troops coming back at you on a counter push. Now watch this clutch defense here, using that Golem to pull over the Prince as well as the Mega Minion away from the tower and into the other lane, and also distracting them long enough, allowing the Mega Minion as well as the Mini P.E.K.K.A. to finish them off. So not only has he set up a counter push, he's also taken out all of his opponent's oncoming troops. Pretty clutch move right there. Golem is exploding, damaging the Barbarians, with a Fireball going down, missing the Barbarians unfortunately, but taking out the Princess, bringing the tower all the way down to 419 health. And all Mo needs right now is maybe 1 or 2 more Golem hits on the tower to finish it off. Ice Spirit freezing the Dark Prince, resetting the charge attack, allowing the Mini P.E.K.K.A. to take it out. Tower finishing off the Mega Minion. Things are getting pretty close here. There's only 20 seconds left. Watch this ending here, guys. Golem going down. Right at the very last second, these Skeletons go down to distract the Prince. As you can see, his opponent dropped down the laughing face there. I think he thought he had the victory, but in only a couple seconds, the Golem was able to finish off the tower, giving Moberg the 2 crown victory. Let's go ahead to one final replay. So here we are, guys, with the final replay, facing off against a level 11 this time. By the way, the reason I'm showing you guys Moberg's replays instead of using the deck myself is Moberg has already mastered this deck, whereas if I were to use it, I would probably make a bunch of mistakes, as there tends to be a bit of a learning process whenever you try out new strategies. And that's some advice that I can offer you guys, is don't expect to be the best right away whenever you try out a new deck. I get a lot of people that come to me and ask me to give them a deck to get to Arena 8 or to get to Arena 9, and you have to remember that whenever you try out a new strategy, the strategy plays a lot different probably than your old strategies, so there is a bit of a learning experience. Whenever I try out new decks, for the most part, I usually lose my first couple of games as I learn the ins and outs of the deck and learn how the cards play and how the cards counter the opponent's cards, stuff like that. So you have to keep in mind that whenever you try out a new strategy, there is a bit of a learning process. So 2 pumps down so far in this battle. Things are looking pretty good for Moberg, because not only does he have 2 pumps down, he was able to do so without taking any damage to either of his towers. So if you're facing off against somebody that's using a pump and they get down 2 pumps and you haven't put on enough pressure to damage their towers, things are going to be pretty tough for you. Now here is the moment that makes every Golem user cry a little bit, when you face off against the Inferno Tower. And like I said, speaking from experience here, whenever using a heavy deck like a Golem deck or maybe even a P.E.K.K.A deck, as soon as you see the Inferno Tower go down, you do cry a little bit, because the Inferno Tower Ice Spirit combo is so strong. But thankfully, the Golem is even stronger, going in there, blowing past the Inferno Tower, making his way to the tower, bringing it all the way down to 1900 health. Now, counter push coming back here with the Mega Minion as well as the Ice Spirit, but Mo is able to defend it with 1 Ice Spirit as well as some Skeletons and a Mega Minion. And the good thing with that is he was able to take out the Hog Rider, taking a bit of damage, but he also has the counter push because of it, forcing more elixir spent by his opponent. Now Joe is going to go ahead and use the Giant to try and distract this Mega Minion Skeleton combo. Pretty interesting decision there, but it actually works out in Joe's favor, as he's able to set up a pretty strong counter push with that Giant, the Miner, the Mega Minion, as well as the Ice Spirit. Now Mo's mini P.E.K.K.A going down, so he's going to go ahead and use his Golem to distract all the support troops, because the support troops do the bulk of the damage. And that's one of the reasons why the Ice Golem is actually a pretty strong card, because it only costs 2 elixir, allows you to cycle pretty fast. It also gives you a pretty strong option to distract your opponent's support troops. Then the Inferno Tower taking out the Golem, but thanks to the Golemites distracting further, the mini P.E.K.K.A is able to take out the Inferno Tower, then put on some pressure, forcing a defensive Miner. Whenever you see a defensive Miner being played by your opponent, you know you have the upper hand and your opponent is scrambling to defend. But Mo has to be extremely careful here. We're at 15 seconds left till overtime. His tower is sitting at 660 health, and Joe's tower still sitting at a healthy 1800 health. Golem going back there to distract the Inferno Tower, with the Zaspel going down to reset the attack timer. 2 Mega Minions in the back, taking out his opponent's Mega Minion with an Ice Spirit as well as the Mini P.E.K.K.A in the back. And thanks to the Ice Spirit, the Mini P.E.K.K.A is able to take out Joe's Mini P.E.K.K.A, putting on a ton of pressure. And thanks to that fast cycling deck and 1 counter push, Mo is able to get the victory. Anyways guys, that's the end of the video. I really hope this strategy helps you guys out. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave it a like and subscribe for more Clash Royale content. Thank you so much for watching guys, and we will see you in the next video.